welcome to the Shelley Studio, and today we are in Germany. So I am doing a painting using acrylic craft paint, and this is just gray and white, and we are doing a painting of a place I was. A long time ago I took a trip to Europe. It was called the Pajama Tour, and you would get up early in the morning, get on the bus, and you'd get to your hotel late at night and go to bed. That's why they called it the Pajama Tour. And if you've never ever been to Europe, it's kind of a fun one. You get see a lot of stuff. You just don't get to see it for very long. So my trip to Germany lasted about a day, and this is one of the places we stopped. This is a cuckoo clock shop in the Black Forest in Germany, which is what we're going to be creating. And I'm just trying to create kind of a misty background here with the acrylic paints, and you probably won't see much of it in the end, just a little bit, but I wanted to try to do it anyway. So now I'm mixing a little blue with the gray, and I'm going to put some trees in this Black Forest. Trying to make them different values so they look like they're fading into the background. I do have this going really fast, just because it took quite a long time. So I started doing the branches on here, I realized, those trees would not look like they were going up like that in the distance, so I just drug them down. And I'm just putting, so I guess this would be autumn in the Black Forest because there's no leaves. That is kind of how I remember it. I was there I believe it was in November, end of October, the beginning of November was my trip. And yeah. So I'm not trying to be perfect, I'm just trying to make a lot of branches, give a lot of interest in the background before I cover it all up. Now we're going to put in a couple of big trees that are closer to us, so I added a little bit more blue to make them a little bit darker, less misty looking. Put some big tree trunks in there. And we'll make some more branches for those. Like I said, they're not perfect, but they make it look like a forest anyway. And I decided to add a few more really dark ones. Just for a little contrast. I thought it was all looking a little too much the same color. I am just using a round brush. A liner brush would have given you a little bit finer branches, but I just decided I'd use my round brush. So now I decided I needed some ground. Not sure why I picked the red with the gray, but it turned out kind of cool. So now here we're sketching in the cuckoo clock store. Now the store looks a bit like a cuckoo clock, so that's what we're trying to recreate here. I did buy a cuckoo clock in that store and had it shipped to me, and that was in 2001, and guess what? I had nowhere to hang it. It is still in the box. But one of these days, maybe when I get my art studio set up, I will put my cuckoo clock in my art studio. It'd be fun to have it go off every hour. At least then I wouldn't forget what time it is. Get going and forget I've been there like 5 hours without standing up. I'm not quite that bad. So now I'm painting in the white just to cover up the trees and make whatever I paint on there show up better. Plus I think part of it is a stucco, so it may just stay white in some areas. And my paint's not exactly dry, but I wanted to keep going. Sorry about the ambient noise in the background. I am recording this outside. I'm actually sitting in my car waiting for my friend to get off work so I can take her and go do something. And so I figured, why not do my voiceover? So this is just a brown. It's not even like burnt umber. It's just calls it chocolate brown, I think. I decided I need to lighten it up and have some light areas and some dark areas. There's also some railing where the Cuckoo Clock characters come in and out and stand on the railing, so I'm going to add those. And this particular painting is far from perfect, I know, but it was just for fun. Now we're creating the doorways. Now that I did that one less of an arch, I have to come over and adjust the other one so it looks kind of the same. Some shading, get some definition going, a little bit anyway. I do this and forget I've got a railing up there, so I get going and then I realize what I did, and I'll have to adjust. Now it's time to try and fix what I did. There we go, another railing. Yes, there's a church nearby and the bells are going off. I don't know if you can hear that or not. lots of traffic. Now we're just doing the gaps between the slats on the railings so they look like railings instead of a blob of paint. Yeah, I was thinking the other day, I've done so many straight paintings, I need to get back and do some of that crazy mixed media that's so much fun. So that's my goal, is to start working on, you'll see a few more straight paintings because they're already done, but that is my goal, is to get some mixed media going because it is so much fun. So the centerpiece is where the clock is going to go. And sorry, I don't know if my camera died, if the battery died, or if I ran out of film. Or memory on my memory card. Not film. It's not film anymore, guys. It's all digital these days. And yes, I'm using my round brush instead of a liner brush. This one's a little bit smaller round brush. That's something. I know I have a liner brush. I'm just not quite sure where. And put a little bit of greenery in the planter boxes on the ground there. And now I decided we've got to put some figures in the doorways here. So we're just going to create some little abstract looking figures without faces. Just so it looks like there's something going on up there. And the real one, there is figures up on the top, but I figured these ones would be enough of an example, since they're too small for me to actually put faces on as they are. The actual store has like cinder block or concrete wall behind it that contains more of the store. But I didn't want to put that in there because it wasn't as pretty, so we left it. So another part of the Amazing Race Art Journal Challenge was to create paper dolls, or use paper dolls that are traditional in Germany. So I looked up an image of the paper dolls, and this is my attempt to recreate it. Now, I know I've said this before, I am no good with faces and people, but at least I keep trying, right? Practice makes perfect. This girl's hair is a little out of control. I think I fix it in a little while. But my little girls and little boys tend to look a little older than little. I try to make them rounder, wider, you know, but they still kind of look old. And she looks kind of shocked. Her eyeballs look so big. Like wide, I guess, not really big, but and so does the boy. I do add color and that helps later, but and the boy actually did have the same lips as the girl. Everything looked the same except for his clothes and his hairstyle. And that he has his yes, and I get his hair up too tight, too high too, so we gotta fix that. See, he was getting really thin, and these things are round, these little paper doll characters. And the outfits I dressed them in are not the ones that I saw on them. There was some other paper doll images that just had clothing. So I really liked the style and the colors of the outfits, so that's what I put on them. Kind of a traditional looking outfit. Yes, and their hands look like mitts. But they're so small. I do have this zoomed in so that you can see what I'm doing, because they are very small. This boy gets really skinny. I guess I subconsciously want to be skinny, so everything I draw is skinny. Okay, his hand had issues. We'll fix that. It still has issues, but we don't care anymore. There we go. And now I'm using my Derwent Inktense watercolor pencils to add the color on our paper dolls. I like how I have a little bit more control when I use the pencil than if I was using just straight watercolor. And I'm just using my water brush to activate it. I did squeeze a little off to the side, so there's a little spot of water that I'm dipping my brush into. Sometimes I want it juicier than it gives me, and sometimes, I end up with too much. Now this part of the outfit is white, so I am just using General Sketch and Wash pencil, because it bleeds a little bit, and it'll create a little bit of shading on those white areas. That was a motorcycle. I was trying to do green there. Now this is blue. This one is indigo, and then I grab another one that I can't remember the name of it. But I started putting the indigo down and I realized it was way too dark. So I decided we'll have to blend the two colors together and make it a little bit brighter. So that was the first one. And this is the other color. I'm just adding in. What you do to one, you do to the other, right? Oh, giving them eyeballs. There we go. This time I put the lighter blue on and then went around with the indigo blue. Hopefully it'll create a little shading. But it does make it a bit brighter this way. When I did the red on the girl, I wasn't sure what I was going to do with the boy's pants, but I decided to do red. In the original image, it's kind of a green color. But I decided I wanted him to match the girl more. Oh, zoomed back in. That's good. And they're both blondes. We're just adding some bright yellow. And then just kind of a yellow ochre color. Just to give it some shading. I put this on, that was black. I put it on and hoped I wouldn't mess it up too badly, make everything too dark. As long as I don't touch it till the very end, it should be okay. So I focus on doing the yellow areas first, and then going out into those darker areas. To try and keep the dark areas from going into the yellow area. And then I'm just using a little bit of brown. I don't really have a skin tone. So just kind of a light brown color for their faces and their skin. I was thinking their faces looked really flat, so I thought I'd add a little more to give some more dimension. But yeah, when I do this to the poor girl, yeah, that doesn't come off. It's stuck. She is just going to have a dark nose. So there they are, all cut out, ready to go. And we are going to glue these onto the foreground of our picture. And I'm just using Elmer's Craft Bond glue. And then I'm just going to cover the whole back side of this, and we're going to stick it down. Just trying very carefully not to have any bleed out, so I smoothed it on pretty good so I wouldn't have any squish out on me. So there's a little boy. And now we'll do the little girl. And as you notice, I didn't give the boy feet and I didn't give the girl legs. So I actually started their heads probably too low down on the paper I was using. I debated whether or not I wanted to add feet to them. And I decided they could just be cropped off at the bottom of this. Now this is a Pitt pen. I'm using it to darken the eyes, and as usual, I wanted to put the laces on so you could see them on the paper dolls, and then decided to outline, and I outline, and I outline some more. I kind of like the way it looks, though it doesn't really go with the background when I outline it all. But I didn't really want to shade behind them. I like the outline idea better, at least for this particular piece. And this is a brush tip pen, so it takes a little bit of control. I'm not perfect with it, but I like the brushy kind of quality it has. Okay. Oh, little detail on the clock since it was looking a little ragged. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. I hope it gives you some good ideas. If you liked it, please hit like, and if you'd like to see more, please subscribe.